Okay, guys, so today's topic, all right? Why does the COVID era feel so nostalgic, okay? I don't know, bro, but every time that I talk to somebody, like my old friends or people that I knew in the past or some other family members, I'm like, everybody's like, wow, how come COVID? It went so quick, first of all. And when you think back about it, it kind of feels like nostalgic. And not like, like despite whatever that was going on, but, if you look at the goods in it, because I had a lot of good memories during the COVID era. And the COVID era was like what, 2020 to 20. I would say this is what I consider the COVID era because I live in Hawaii, right? So we shut down when in 2020, right? Let me do a little flashback, okay? Because we're getting a little bit nostalgic. So in 2020 I graduated high school, so I remember this, guys. All right, let me get a little bit nostalgic for you people. Oh man, I can't believe it's been almost 5 years already. Once it hits 2025, it's gonna be 5 years ago. That's crazy, right? Anyways, so number one, right? When 2020, I was still in high school, and then January, February, you know what I'm saying? I was still, I was happy because the whole August to December, I was playing football training, I was working landscaping, I was going to school. So I was like, football ended, so I was like, oh, I get a little bit more free time, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to train too much. So January, February, comes, I'm just enjoying the day, I'm just going to school, working, coming home, going to church, doing the basics, you know what I'm saying? I was only 17. And then in March, we went on spring break. And then the school was like, hey, we're going to cancel school a little bit early. You guys going to go on a spring break a little bit earlier. And then, yeah, we're going to figure out from there because of the whatever was going on, the pandemic. Everybody was happy to stay home, right? But we didn't expect it for to be that long. So we go on spring break 1 week early. We stay. Then after that, they email us. They say, "Hey, we're gonna extend spring break." So, for me, I hated school. Right? I just sucked it up. I just had to discipline myself to do what needs to be done in school. So then after that, it was like, okay, cool. I'm down. Fuck, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? So during that spring break, all right, I started working at Taco Bell. And I was working Taco Bell in the morning, doing whatever I had to do. And then on the weekends, I was landscaping. And so I was like, oh, if I go back to school, if, if they tell us to come back to school, I'm going to have to work night times only at Taco Bell until I graduate in May. And then guess what? They said, you know what, guys, the week after I got the job, they're like, guys, from now on, it's not spring break anymore, but we're going to have online school. So I was like, what the fuck? So the whole time when, I was we didn't really have like, we had Zoom, we had computers, but a lot of the teachers, I guess, didn't know how to operate Zoom. And, it's still a new concept to, us in society because who the hell does online school nowadays? You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day. So they're like, okay, just do your homework online, go on Google Classroom, Google Docs, turn them in on time, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have to be physically there. I didn't have to be sitting down on my computer going on Zoom. So then after that, I was working. I was like, fuck everything. I remember I emailed my counselor. I said, counselor, the reason why I'm not turning in my homework because they're emailing me. They're like, oh, you guys okay? How come you're not turning in your homework? And you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm working 2 jobs right now, for the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So, and then after that, they're like, oh, and all my teachers, I guess they told my teachers, then CC my teachers on the email, and they all one teacher would email me, but a lot of them said, you know what? You have an extension. You have a extended deadline for all your assignments and for the final exams. I was like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I just played the system. So, anyways, short story short, I graduated high school in May of 2020, and then I was working 2 full-time jobs as a 17-year-old. I remember during the whole, like when I was working at Taco Bell, right? My schedule would be I'll be working Taco Bell Monday to Friday. I'll be working 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then most of the times, right, I'll be staying from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I'll do double shifts because there was nothing to do. And I remember when I first started, right? I remember the first day, nobody had masks. The next day I come in, right, or a week after, they're like, everybody had masks on. So anybody that I met during the COVID era, I met them with a mask on. I didn't know how their face looked like, so all I saw was their eyes. So I was like, what the frick, right? And then I remember since I was working at Taco Bell, they shut down the dine-in, right? So nobody could walk in. Nobody can open. We locked the door and everything was drive-through. So like it was just me and my boys, right? We were just like on the drive-through headset. We were just messing around, working, grinding. And it was like that for 1 year straight. And I remember at my landscaping job, they shut down as well. So with the place that I used to clean and cut grass and do whatever I had to do, they shut that down too. And that place was for like community. It had like community halls and buildings that a lot of people could rent out. So there'll be like graduation parties, holiday parties, birthday parties, funerals, weddings. So my whole job was to clean it. But since everything got shut down, I had the whole place to myself. My boss still made me come and say, hey, weekends come in. You can still do the basic normal routine, but I'm gonna add more different tasks. We can do some deep work, and you know what I'm saying? So I was planting grass, I was painting roads and curbs, I was painting buildings, I was, leaf blowing, I was taking, like, I was doing all kinds of shit during the COVID era. And so, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, bro, thinking back about it, I was like, oh, that was so nostalgic. That was one year. 2021, right? Same thing. We still had to wear masks, but it was less, everything was kind of getting less restricted. I remember we started opening the dine-in and Taco Bell. I was still working two jobs, and then every Wednesdays, me and my boys, we would have the same off days. So what we would do is we would go wake up in the morning, we'll go down to a nice hike. The hikes, everything, the beaches, they were all open already, but you had to wear a mask. If you were to go indoors, you would have to mask up. And I'm gonna tell you another nostalgic thing, all right? So we go hiking in the morning, we go back down to the beach, we swim, we chee-hoo, we eat some lunch, we cruise around. I remember when night times, you would stay out all the way night times, and we'll play basketball. We'll go into the city, ride some scooters, the electric scooters. And you know what I'm saying, everybody was like fucking, it wasn't like, it was not empty, but it wasn't as busy. You know what I'm saying? Like from before. So the hotels, everything was empty. I remember when we used to go to the movies, right? There was barely any movie shows, but if there was a movie, I remember we would have to reserve a seat. So if there were like four of us, we would do one, two, three, four seats, and then the next group of people, they would have to space out. So there will be like four of us, and then say for instance there's somebody else in a different row. They will be like, okay, two seats reserved, and then the next group of people can sit next to us. Nobody could sit together, and then they would always be like, wear your mask, wear your mask. So bro, that was crazy. And then I knew when the pandemic was over for us, when 2022 came, all right? I was working three jobs at that time, and I remember we still had to wear masks, but then it was like March or April. When I was working my job, my boss was like, hey guys, you guys don't need any COVID tests or masks anymore. You can take it off. That's how I knew when society was normal. Well, in our state. And then I was traveling. I was doing all this kind of cool little shit. I was going to the hotels, working three jobs. So the point I'm trying to make is, guys, I don't know what the point of this video is. I'm just reflecting. I'm just giving, it's not really an advice video. It's kind of like a flashback video, just kind of for me. But why the hell was the COVID era so quick? And, for me, it was nostalgic because, despite the chaos in the world and everybody, oh, I'm scared. I was like one little scaredy cat. Yeah, I wasn't scared. But a lot of people were like, well, for me, it was like, my life just started, you know what I'm saying? I just graduated high school. I had to get shit done. I couldn't be like everybody else, like hiding like on panty in the house or playing video games. I had to make my money. I had to get healthy. I had to take care of my family. I had to make sure that my goals was getting achieved and accomplished. And so I was like, oh, there was a lot of good things that came out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just looking at the positives. And so, I was doing a lot during those, 2 years, 2020, 21, 22, maybe 3 years. I would say that was the era. 2023 was long gone already. Like, everything was back to normal. And then of course this year, 2024, and then of course going into 2025, normal as hell. But it was crazy, guys. I remember when, like, I was looking forward to graduation in 2020. I was like, yeah, I'm so happy to end school. But I hated school. I was ready to get the hell out of school, but it kind of felt like, damn, there was no closure. And so, that taught me a good life lesson too. A lot of things in life, right, guys? You guys might not get closure. Sometimes it just ends like abruptly, and like bang, you got to move on to your next subject in life. So, you know what I'm saying? And it also taught me to work with my current situation. No matter what's going on in the world or going on in my life, you still got to push through. You still got to do what needs to be done. And you still got to work with your situation. If shit looks bad, figure out a solution. Work around with it. Work with it. You know what I'm saying? Find something. Find people. Like, for me, it was like during the pandemic, it was like, do I still want to fucking stay home and play video games and not do anything? I wasn't going to college too, because that's a separate video. I don't believe in college, but because I believe it's not going to make me rich. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, so be it. But for me, it's like, I don't see it going to make me rich. So I said, nope, I'm not going to stay home. And a lot of jobs wasn't hiring. So I said, bro, fast food it is, and keep my landscaping job. I was just grinding. getting paid 11 an hour at Taco Bell, doing double shifts to earn extra income despite how much taxes they take out. I say despite how much taxes they take out, then I just gonna work more and more so that it could, equivalent. Oh, my nose is itchy. Runny nose, but yeah, guys, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, get to work. Subscribe right now. I see you guys for another video. Yes, sir.